I now would like to invite Dr. Yaniv Goldberg, the head of Israeli Economic and Trade Mission in Korea. Goldberg.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm not a doctor, I'm just Mr., but thank you. And thank you so much, KCCI, ECCK, and the organizers of this event for inviting me today, and the other panelists for listening and allowing me to provide my comments today. So Israel is a small country, as you probably know, which is less known for manufacturing on large scale, but is well regarded as an innovation hub. And with more than 400 multinationals residing in Israel, opening their R&D centers and scouting offices and investment arms, Israel is indeed considered as a powerhouse for technology. And I saw in your presentation, Dr. Chang, I saw that you mentioned that the MENA area is responsible currently for around 16% of the intra-regional trade. And we certainly hope that this will change in the future. And the reason is that we now see a positive trend in the Middle East. You probably heard about it. In addition to the peace accords and trade relationship that Israel has for many years now with Egypt and Jordan, Israel recently signed peace accords with the UAE, with Bahrain, and with Sudan. And we expect more countries from the Gulf area especially to follow this trend. And this is a major impact for the Middle East, but not only for the Middle East. We expect that this will have a very positive impact on the entire area, also on trade. Now, currently, there is a delegation. Right now, there is a delegation of more than 100 Israeli companies in Dubai, and Israel is about to open its national pavilion in Expo Dubai 2021. And, sorry. Yeah, sorry. And this is a major change for us. Also, in terms of FTAs, Israel is about to sign its free trade agreement with, in addition to many other free trade agreements we have, also with Korea soon. And we expect that this FTA will enter into force during 2021. So in the sense, in regard to the WTO, Israel's stance was always in favor of the multilateral a rules-based system, and definitely in favor of preserving and enhancing the role of the WTO, the global role of the WTO, keeping the global trade norms in place, and especially allowing the DSB and the appellate body to do their function in a better way. I had the chance to participate on behalf of the Israeli government in the ministerial conference in Buenos Aires in 2017. And I had also the chance to see the cumbersome process of reaching a consensus and the frustrating situation where results are not achievable. And on the other hand, I had also the chance to lead the TPR process for Israeli government in 2018. So every few years, as you mentioned, there is the TPR and the TPR review of Israel. The recent one was made in 2018. And we had this process, and we saw actually the advantages of having this kind of review, also internally inside the Israeli government, in order to review our processes, to review our commitment to the global system, but also in terms of working with the WTO teams, with other countries to get this peer review and to enhance our own systems and processes. Now, I believe that we can look at what is on the table right now in terms of challenges, also from the angle of opportunities. Definitely, you mentioned there are many processes and procedures inside the WTO that are very challenging and very difficult. But also, we now see global trends such as COVID-19, obviously, and global warming, and digital transformation, as you mentioned. Cybersecurity was always a challenge, e-commerce. All of these are huge challenges, but also opportunities for better future, better cooperation between countries. I think that Israel especially has a role, even if we are a small country, we have a significant role in the digital transformation processes, and when it comes to green technology, we can give our part. And for all of those issues, Israel definitely supports the kind of cooperation in the global trade system and in the WTO in order to facilitate and to confront these challenges. Now, as for the last point regarding the new Director General, I don't think it will be exaggerated to say that this is a quite historic time. Symbolically, having a woman to be, probably a woman to be the Director General of the WTO, I think it's an important symbol for many, many people, especially because the trade and business communities are actually in balance. We must say the truth. They are in balance, and this kind of imbalance is not a good thing. And also, beyond that, I think that the role of the future Director General will be very much important in order to bring consensus, in order to lead, and we spoke about it beforehand, in order to lead, but without like leading behind the scenes and letting the members taking the WTO forward, and also by bringing a thinking outside of the box. So with that said, I would like to thank you again for listening, and these were my comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Goldberg, for the presentation on Israel's FTA policies and support of multilateral trading system and challenges and opportunities. And also, he also have great expectations for the incoming WTO Director General, whoever she should be. I think this one thing clear is a woman will take up the positions. Thank you, Mr. Goldberg.
Yes. So I think it was Churchill who said that democracy is the worst form of governance except of all the rest. And to paraphrase on that, I think, we have only one WTO and we need to preserve it. And in the process of rebuilding it or doing a reform, I think we need to keep and preserve the strong competencies of the WTO, which in my mind are the fact that it's a very professional organization and also that is mostly non-political, and I think we need to keep that in mind. And in my view, we need to make sure that it stays like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goldberg.